A lot of musicians, a lot of performers, I beg your pardon, wanted to speak. Some were calling me, some were sending messages. That no way. What are they talking about? Performing for free? You want us to perform for free? Really? So what happens? Is it only about relationships? Let's listen to Sadiq one more time. This was made open when he joined the Twitter spaces held by Joy FM. And let's listen to Sadiq first.
Well, it's very, very difficult unless you have the relationship first and foremost, or unless, and like I said, depends on the situation. I've seen before I stepped down from my active management role in Three Music and started focusing heavily on politics. I got a lot of calls from talents that were possibly booking me, that was saying, yo, if you're thinking of any talent or anything from, let's say, Three Music Awards next year, yo, put us in. And this time around, there was a massive shift, and nobody was having the conversation of Charlie, pay me. No, everybody was saying, think of me first. If you have that crazy idea that would have a long-term impact on my life, on my career, think of me first. And this is also because we had done what we did with Black, for instance. I know when I put out the story of that, the fact that it wasn't initially meant for Blacko, but Sarkodie, there are a lot of people that took me on, they didn't understand what we're talking about, but we're speaking for myself and for industry. Rather interestingly, a lot of industry people ran away from controversial conversations, the hard business conversation. Everybody runs away from it. But I'm sure Sarkodie would understand that there was a thing I wanted to reach out. I was actually detailing a situation. I was actually at, because the point was that, it's gotten to the point where it gets difficult. Once it gets difficult and we are stuck on the money conversation, you don't see any value, we will move. When we move, we will enable and create a future for somebody else that is ready. It's not like even a conversation, but that conversation needed to be brought into the public domain one way or the other. You could call it unprofessional, unethical, or anything, but for me and a couple of all of us in industry who do not, because the market has broken. The sponsorship market has crashed. It's non-existent anymore. Nobody is getting the capital from the sponsorship market anymore. The investment to produce these shows is not even happening anymore. These talents, even when they produce their own shows, they are running out losses. And so we got to a point where we all need to think sustainability.
Okay, so that was Sadiq, our very own Baba Sadiq. Well, some performers were not very happy. Some were okay. I know that some perform for free. In this case, let's engage comedian Obi Amponsa. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, my boss.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very well. I hope you heard Sadiq.
Yeah, I did.
What's your take?
Yeah. So, this is what I think when it comes to artists, the relationship between artists and event organizers. For people like Sadiq, who when you realize, when they let you in on their vision, okay, for maybe they are just started like the Three Music Awards, like the first edition, and then you sit with them, and then they let you in on the plans they have. For such people, when they contact you for an event, like for you to be part of the event, and the money they come with, it's not really your normal charge. For me, I consider the vision, and then try to arrange a kind of a deal in perpetuity, so that it just doesn't end there. Like I see the growth, and then I want to be a part of it, more like a shareholder in that role that I'm being placed, so that as it gets better, I know the payment gets better. So that's like people who you share in their dreams with as an artist. That is, from my point of view, those people you don't regularly charge them how you charge any other event company. But before then, for an artist, usually when you are starting, usually you'd have to beg to be on these stages, like on the event organizer, on event stages. And when you continue doing that and finally you get your chance to blow up and then be recognized as an artist in Ghana, almost always there's the feeling that you've paid your dues underground, and now that you're in the limelight, it's time for you to also reap what you've sown. And the truth is that people would see you. You'd have responsibilities as a top class artist. Like everybody looks at you, like parents, family, people on social media will be inboxing you for. So you'd have to get the right amount of money to satisfy these responsibilities that comes with it. And for the Ghanaian artistry industry, or however I would call it, the older you get, the less your value. Like the older you get in the industry, like once you blow up as an artist in Ghana, it seems, I may be wrong though, but it seems you need to make all the money you can make in your prime before you get out of vogue, before people cancel you and people replace you so quickly. And we've seen a lot of examples of replacement. Like even me, when I started getting a bit of recognition in the industry, people started pitching me against DKBs, the Romanuses, like, okay, the new king. And so it kind of brings the older person in the industry's value a little bit down. And so I understand artists when we try to go in for what we want or what we need, like the payment the payment we deserve at that point, so that when it's time for them to cancel us or just clear us from the system, I mean, you would have made something while you were in your prime. And I've also realized that for some event organizers, when you are quite lenient with them and you are soft a little with them because of a relationship, they sort of abuse that relationship you guys have by extending it to other event organizers. Some, first of all, would say that, I've built OB. Because event organizers see these shows as well. So they say, I built OB for this show, and I give them some 5K. Charlie, you go try it. Or I go even talk to one for you. And because you have a relationship with this person, you would agree with this person and then get to the show and realize there are enormous sponsors on it. Like, ideally, this is not your real charge you charge. So some of these event organizers that you would consider tend to take undue advantage of the relationship you strike with them. Even with big men who want to sponsor our shows, or big men who want us at maybe their parties or their events. Some of them do not have our numbers, so they will talk to some event organizers or some big people too, and they'll be like, and they are ready to give us good money, but the person or the middleman goes, oh, he's my boy, he be my boy, you make her talk to him, and all this stems from the fact that you may have established a relationship with a person, and the person is taking undue advantage of it. So I think it works both ways. Like, if the event, and some of these events can pay, if you realize they can pay, I think you should take your money, especially for these paid gigs, like the ones that people are buying tickets to come and all that. It's believed that the event organizer may have done all his checks and balances and then come to the conclusion that he would have a filled auditorium, and so your charge is normal. But for corporate events, like, maybe EcoBank, maybe Vodafone, maybe Multimedia is doing a show, those ones you massage your prices a bit, because these are like normal shows that are not really ticketed, but for your services are needed for that. I don't know, entertainment purposes at that time, not necessarily a ticketed event. Those we do manage our charges as well. Yeah. So, boss, basically, yeah.
Okay, so in a case where you are invited and there's no cash, for example, or even if you are paid a little, and then you go there and there are 100 sponsors, or let's say, okay, let's be real, 5 sponsors. You are seeing, let's say, MTN. You are seeing Ebony Condom. You are seeing, name them, Emirates. Tabia. Lawson Herba. I mean, all of these big brands. And so you when you see them, what happens? So do you approach them later on and ask for a little top up, or you just smile and go back home and say next time?
Yeah, that's it. I say next time. You see, all of this, and it's been a learning process for a lot of us. Sincerely, some event organizers will actually contact you, and for us, the moment the call ends, we start preparing the jokes for the show. You understand? Some people will call you and cancel at the day, even the night before.
Last minute.
Yeah, last minute, man. You have prepared and you are ready. You have even budgeted and borrowed money to, do stuff because you are anticipating some kind of show that would pay for that, and then it gets cancelled. You understand? That you can't even complain when it happens like that. So those are some of the hazards of the show, even that we don't talk. And so when you get to the show that you didn't charge, and then you realize it has 5 sponsors, it's a big time show that like the organizer should have made some allocations for you, and he doesn't. You just nod your head and then write his name in a small corner of a book. That's okay. One day you come back to me and I'll charge you my real value because you underrated my act. Yeah.
I see. All right, Obi. Well, thank you very much. I'll
you,
try and invite you and not give you anything in booze. Baby, am I not your brother?
Yeah, but we will go hanging together. Then the family will suffer.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I'm grateful. All right, thank you. All right, so that was comedian Obi Amponsa. Robert?
Yeah.
So you heard Obi?
Yes.
Why are you looking at me?
I heard him.
I miss Bulldog. My friend, he say what? Let's continue and speak with Hogan. Hogan, I say, good morning.
Yeah, big man. Good morning.
Why are we speaking to only comedians? How are you, bro?
I did all right. Alpha.
Cool. All right, so you heard Obi, and yesterday you heard our conversation. So in the case where Sadiq says getting an artist to perform for free has not been easy. Do you get to perform for free at events?
First of all, Andy, good morning. And it's you. All right. First of all, Obi killed it. Like, he nailed everything the way it should be said. These guys, they will call you. And I think the worst part is when you try to lobby for this gig. That's the worst. I don't know if it's a crime or it's not part of the work ethics anymore for an artist to lobby for a gig. They kind of like bring you really, really low. Like that's the point. That's the part where they act like they've never heard of you before, because they want to bring your rates really low. The guy will call out. Someone spoke to me for a gig, and He was like, it's a maiden edition. I was like, okay. And then he was like, he has my fee. I was my rate. I said, like, for instance, I said 400 CDs. And then he was like, he has 40 CDs. So, I said 40 CDs for what? He say, that's the budget that he has for a comedian. I said, boss, I cannot do it for 40 CDs. Then other people called me. This is the problem. When they call you and you don't support the maiden edition, they feel you are not supporting the industry. So when you go support them for that 40 CDs, the next time they're calling you again for 40 CDs. So basically, that is your fees because you agreed to do that. And they will go around telling, like Obi said, the same person, wherever he gets the opportunity, instead of him to push you to make money because you supported his gig, no. He will tell the same, whoever is going to hire you or wants to hire you, oh, but he's my guy, I can talk to him, he's 40 cities that he takes. Even when I have been booked, this one happened to me last year, December. I've been booked for a show already by someone else. And that person, we had already discussed the fees and concluded. I didn't even know he's this person that is producing the event. But thank God I didn't speak to him. The Oga, Pata is the one that spoke to me and agreed to pay me my fees. This guy came to call me later on and was like, I heard you have spoken to him. Okay, so now let's discuss. You don't say there's no money. And imagine this type of thing. How do I grow? If I hadn't spoken to that guy, he's like, he wanted to cut it down and take all the money that was supposed to be given to me and then come give me what he feels he has been given to me on his own event. And I was like, no, I've already discussed with this person. So, we've sorted that out. That's not your part. So forget about it. Just give me the address for the event. So I'll just come do him. He was pissed. See me there. He was frowning all the way through because he didn't expect me to have spoken to someone else and not him. But about these people, I think the problem is that comedy is not really seen as a major importance in the entertainment industry because
really,
usually, yeah, especially in Ghana, it's like comedy is like the last thing they plan, they add to the event when they are planning the event, and the first to take out when the budget constraints. Do you understand? And like Obi said, sometimes they'll book you for events, you are preparing for the event. 2 days, a day to the event, they'll call you, tell you, my MD said we should cancel comedy. I mean, they have like 5 artists, musical artists on that deal. They say, we should cancel comedy. And what about the dates that I blocked for you? So now I've missed both. Do you understand? And we can't say anything. We can't come out whining because they are big companies majority of the time.
But don't you take your money before you go to such events?
You see, that is how it works sometimes. These people, they will tell you this is how it is. And these are like, most of the times, it's like the major companies where you have gone, you have sat with them, you have signed MOU. You have confirmed that your money is going to be paid. Your money is supposed to be paid a day before the event. So the day before the event is when they even call to cancel it. You get what we're saying here. So, and majority of the time, Baba, we did cancel event too. Like someone will call me because most of the time these are big gigs. So we don't feel waste time. So, okay, I'll go late. I'll go do another show before going. No, I want to dedicate all my day for this event. And then they call to cancel because it's comedy. They feel comedy, yeah. If you tell them this is your fees, my fees is 20,000. They even get scared. Like it's so bad, and it's so bad that they want you to have a good brand. Your brand should be strong. You have to be solid. But when you become solid, like the way we are now, they get scared to call us for gigs. So they feel, well, this guy, can we afford them? It's not supposed to be so. You understand?
Okay, I do. I just don't want to derail from what we've been discussing. I guess this is also another discussion for another day. Well, I'm so grateful for your time, my brother. I'll get in touch with you in due time.
No shaking.
Thank you very much. Righty. Sadiq has just been with us. How you doing?
And Dusty, Charlie's been how many years here?
And that's how I was. You've decided to desert us for no reason.
It's also because You also deserted me.
No way.
These days when you're going to Kaswa.
Me,
You go alone.
I don't go there at
You
all.
go alone.
I've stopped.
Andy. Oh,
I've stopped.
you have?
Yeah.
Wow, in Accra.
I've
Accra.
stopped. The reason is
Ria says she's hungry. She's hungry very this morning.
yeah. Well, watch
She's
has
very
been
hungry.
served. Watch has been served, so it's
Good for her.
fine.
You know,
Yeah.
you can come from some places from the night and be very hungry. I didn't know you can talk about this from experience.
Okay.
Andy Dusty.
Let's speak with George Quay, and then Sadiq, I start with you. Yes, Mr. Quay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
Good morning.
All right. Yesterday, as we were having the discussion, you chipped in something. You whispered to me, can you rather reveal on air about Sadiq's quest for musicians to perform for free, and that it's been quite difficult to even avail themselves?
I was listening to the convo, as you rightly said yesterday, and I thought what you were all looking for was leverage. See, I mean, from my experience in the field.
George, you're
Can you hear me?
not too better.
The devil is a lie. Is it better now?
Okay.
Is it better now?
Okay, better.
Great. So I was saying that listening to the convo yesterday, I think a word you were all looking for was leverage. Leverage basically speaks to the relationship between events and artists. And I think for me, it's one of mutualism. They rely and depend on each other. You see, what is a big event? A big event is not a big event until it has an artist that brings some relevance to the event. You take the Super Bowl, for instance. Look, as much as it's got the crowd and the following and everything, let's come to the end of the Super Bowl. What is the biggest talking point? The halftime show. That halftime show is big, it is relevant, it is important. So like it or yes, organizers of the Super Bowl need that halftime show to rake in the numbers that they do rake in. But what have they also been able to do to be able to get the big artists to perform on that halftime show? They've been able to grow it year in, year out to make it one of the most expensive and the most watched events on planet Earth. The Super Bowl is watched by over 100 million people globally. So if you're an artist and you're going to step on this platform, instantly, you know the number of people that are going to be watching you. Let us bring it home. Bring it to the VGMAs or the 3 Music Awards. As compared to Image Bureau, the comedy show that we organized recently. You cannot compare our comedy show that we organized recently to the 3 Music Awards or even the VGMAs, because the VGMAs is watched across the continent. And so is the 3 Music Awards. These events are live on TV, they are live online, they are live on a number of platforms. So if Sadiq speaks from that perspective, Sadiq is trying to say that, look, I have spent time, resources, broken my back to build a brand for you. Sadiq could have taken his money and gone to the front plains to buy a farmland, grow uku. Or he could have said, look, let me call Akunta Mines and see if they can give me a concession to mine. And he would have been in business. But he decided to invest that money in a certain industry, an industry that he really doesn't have to invest anything in if he doesn't want to, if he's not driven by passion. Same with Mr. and Mrs. Yola Yade, who have built a very solid brand in Ghana space. And Andy, you know the number of people who get paid every time the VGMAs come around. So if these people have invested so much to build good quality events, yes, they do have every right to ask artists to perform for free, as happens elsewhere. That is why I started from the Super Bowl example. But me, George Quay, who is now growing a certain image bureau, who is organizing a comedy show at the National Theatre with a total seating capacity of 1,492, and even that I'm not guaranteed a full house. An event that is not going to go live anywhere. So really, the people that I have put in that auditorium are about 500 or 600. I must be mad to ask any artist to come and perform for free.
I want you to repeat what you just said. Please, I didn't catch that.
Yes, I know where you're going. I must be mad to ask any artist to come and perform for free with a platform that little, that would hardly do anything to their careers. Unless, of course, I have a relationship. So George Quay can pick up my phone and call, Charlie, yeah, my brother, I'm doing this show. Can you pass?
George, I'm losing you.
Do you have me now?
Not too quiet. I will appreciate it if you position yourself properly, because this is
Hold on a second. We're doing a training somewhere, so
Hits
let me try to get out.
103.9.
Okay. Is it better now?
better. So yeah, you were saying that you'll be mad for not giving monies, or you'll be mad for giving monies.
If me, Image Bureau, I'm doing a program that is exposed to just about 300 to 500 people. Like, I mean, and I'm comparing it to the VGMAs and to the 3 Music Awards and stuff. The example I gave was that the VGMAs, for instance, is watched across the continent. I don't know how many people. I do not have the empirical records. Maybe Robert may have it. But give and take, let us say 5 million people. Or 3 Music Awards, which is being showed on a number of TV platforms, is being showed on a number of digital boxes, is being shown on a number of online platforms. Let us say also another 3 to 5 million, just like the VGMAs. And me, George Kui, organizing a comedy show at the National Theatre for my small company, Image Bureau. And National Theatre has a total seating capacity of 1,492 with some broken chairs. And I'm not even able to fill it. I fill it with like 500 people. And then I'm asking someone to come and perform for free. I must be mad.
So in this case, how do you get the money? Good. So please hold on right there. How do you get the money to pay the person? If you're saying you ask, you are saying that you're asking the person to come and perform for free, then you must be mad. Yeah. How do you make the money to pay the person? Since that place...
No, let me get me clearly. The people who have the leverage to ask anybody to come and perform for free are the big events that have developed the following. Because that following would eventually help build the artist's career. That following would eventually turn into numbers for the artist. And that following would eventually turn into money for the artist.
So in the case of growing events,
in my case,
George, in the case of Image Bureau, where you are building it up gradually, you don't even have enough. You may not even have sponsors. And you are leveraging on our relationship. So here we are. I'm your friend. You call me, Chalandi. You know, this event, cash no day. I beg you.
Which you did for me.
I did for you. So, Andy, come support me. Sadiq, I've done it for him. I've done it for Robert. I'll do it for Ria. I'll do it for Bridasha. If I feel like you are an emerging company, I need to support. In that case, is that not what Sadiq is saying? So you call me and then I tell you, Charlie, George, you give me some 10K, me the car 50, but there's some transport.
We are saying the same thing. That is what I'm saying. On that point, it is not a demand. Those that have the power to demand it are the 3 Music Awards and the VGMAs, because they have developed to a certain level and have a certain following, which can be beneficial to the musician. That is where I brought in the word leverage. But I don't have it yet. So I have to rely on relationships. You understand? And you're not the only one who did it for me. Look, if these comedians were going to charge me what they charge professionally, really, I probably wouldn't have been able to pull off that show. You understand? We have to be frank and speak to the truth. If we were not lucky to have Ebony Condoms come to support us, we probably wouldn't have been able to stage that show. However, if we are consistent, if we work hard, if we are able to develop that show to become another night of 1,000, whatever laughs, that gives you the numbers, that gives you the leverage that you can finish and put on YouTube to monetize, and you can then that way, when you know you have developed a certain kind of following, which when Obi Amponsa steps on, Obi Amponsa can say, look, I've seen your captive audience, I've seen the number of people that you have. I would usually charge this amount, but because I know this would also be too beneficial to my brand, give me this amount in cash, give me this amount in this or that, because maybe they know Image Bureau, I'm an event planner, so they can negotiate other things with me. But nobody anywhere has a right to tell any musician, come and perform for free, even if you are the Super Bowl. First, have something that you can offer. It is called leverage. And artists that have very solid management teams behind them understand leverage and know when to take advantage of good leverage. But let us not create the impression that any artist sitting somewhere needs to be taken for granted. No. Art is expensive. Art costs money. If an artist is even invited to come perform for free at any event, Andy, think about the amount of money that artists will spend in clothes. Think about the amount of money that artists will spend in makeup if it is a female artist. Think about the transport. Think about the entourage. When an artist moves, it is cost. Every single movement. For some artists, the entire look and feel is even in the security and everything that they come with. You see a lot of people around them and all that, and you think, is this really necessary? Yes, it is really necessary because it adds to the brand. It is what makes the brand unique. That is what makes you want the brand. So I cannot confidently stand anywhere and say artists should be able to perform and stand on platforms for free. I can say that it is conversations that we need to have.
Okay.
And then based on relationship, and then based on proof of relevance and how it can help build their career, based on how we can mutually support each other, we can agree on whatever terms. But I don't think it is fair for us to consistently insist that artists should not get paid. Those that go and perform at the Super Bowl, no, it won't really cost them a thing. They know, because they know every other thing is going to be catered for. And eventually, we also need to get there. And I like it that 3 Music did it for Blacko, and we all see what it has done for Blacko's act. You understand? Maybe that's another conversation we ought to have, where artists would also get to understand that, look, for this particular set, I would not be able to pay you money into your pocket. However, let me know what you want to do. And if you are the artist, you can include everything you're going to wear, your transport, everything, because really that is the act. Getting to the venue to perform is also part of the act. If you don't get there, there'll be no performance. So I think we should not be too hard and fast on it and insist that, if it is show A, no artist dares ask for money. No, let us respect them for their hard work.
Right.
It's difficult. It is tough. So let us do well to appreciate them.
Okay,
and
George.
What we can do is have a relationship and a conversation about it, so it can be a mutually beneficial conversation.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'm so grateful.
Thank
sir.
you, bro. And God bless you for your support for the industry. Please
thank you.
continue performing for free.
I'll continue performing for free. Thank you very much. Back in the studio, Sadiq.
Yeah, Andy.
So you heard George.
Yeah. I mean,
And yes, you began the conversation about getting artists to perform for free and that it's difficult.
in fact, the idea is not to have artists perform for free or even to perform.
So yes, I want you to clear it or make it.
I think that if you're, I was listening to the audio you played, I realized I didn't come with the question.
Okay.
That was asked, so he lost the context and the premise.
Right.
But George tried to summarize it very well. What were we looking at? The premise of the Joy Entertainment platform and what we discussed on Friday. I think what Joy Entertainment and Kwame Dadzi was trying to do was, with the background that Rihanna wasn't paid and they achieved that much value.
I think yesterday we scratched the surface. We didn't really get deeper.
So and what she got, and then on the back of what Dre was able to do, right, with the
Snoop,
Super Bowl
Eminem,
and all of those things, there was a conversation that I think Joy Entertainment wanted to instigate, which is that, one, will our big event, to take it from George, be able to get to that particular point? Is it possible? How do we get to the point where our big events are able to provide that much value to talent like that? So that was what we're looking at. So first and foremost, artists are not supposed to perform for free. So if that's the intention, if that is what has been carried out there, that is wrong. Again, artists can perform for every single available platform. George has differentiated it very well. You've got your big events, and rightly so, a big industrial event, and you've got other events. Again, you've actually even gotten commercial events. So in a year, for instance, with a lot of the talents that I've working relationship with, you could reach out to them and say, I've got XXX number of events. These events are commercial events. So when we call you on this particular event, we're paying you good premium amount of money. But this event are a spectacular event, looking to create an experience, looking to give you a certain long-term value. Then you show it to them. And George is right. Last year, when I did 3 Music Awards, for instance, the artist doesn't touch anything. No. Your costuming is done. Your transportation is done. Your styling. In fact, we scripted the entire performance for you. Your dances, your everything is end to end. We even go the extra mile of not only scripting the performance, we project the impact it may have on your career on a particular new song. We sit with you regarding your distributions, whatever amount of PR, visibility, and things that you give to them. Why is it so? Again, the premise is that...
this, does it come with an honorarium?
Of course.
There's an honorarium.
Yes. So artists, the idea is that artists they are not supposed to get the artists to perform for free. The idea is, in a market that is dry, in a 300 million cities per annum market that is since has been tightened because of sometimes regulatory or socioeconomic impact, how do you get to create value similar to what Rihanna and the Super Bowl have been able to create? That's the background. So, because in the country, it's not every event that has to give you the Super Bowl effect. Three Music VGMA has the Super Bowl effect. Of course, if I go last year, for instance, the most watched music award show in Africa is Three Music Awards. If you put together the total watching hours that I'd given, and you know the conversations and what it did to the likes of Blacko and other talents and everything. So the value is there. Again, in the market, if for you to be able to replicate that or do something like that or do the kind of things that you're able to do for Rihanna, that's a lot of money. Now, if you're looking to create that value, the market can afford that. The only way the market can afford that, if the two parties will sit together and say, you know what, waiver off your commercial fees, however, everything that you need will be provided. So it's a mutually beneficial where you, for your event, you're able to establish that consistency and visibility that's good for your event. For the talent, you're able to sit down and look at it in a long term. We do it every day. Till like last year, personally for myself, for the organizations and everything, you sit with talent, you look at it, you look at their plans, you try to enhance their plans, you go look into their contract, that from the international labels to whatever. So it's a long-term value that you give to them. So in replacement of the value, for instance, there are certain things that you say, okay, you know what, let's all create this value together. But the idea is not to add up the impression that has been created. And I'll be glad if, for instance, you'll be able to play the question that preceded the answer. And my answer details it. Long-term value. Value is value. But you need to understand that you are in a market where the size of your market can produce the kind of Rihanna effect. However, if you want to establish that Super Bowl effect, there has to be a consensus regarding how do you go extra mile for the talent. How does the talent has to come in? Okay. But I think the headline doesn't do justice to the essence of the discussions that we have, because even in the conversation, there was a point where I made that where there's a lot of money to be shared. Because I remember Kojo said, Kojo came in and said, oh, it doesn't matter. Some people should not think about it. If you're getting $1 million, no. Big ideas. Okay. If you're getting $1 million to do it, I said, no. Where there's money that has come into market, if like you're doing global assistance, $26 million, for instance, on valuation, that money must cut across. Everybody should get it.
But I like the fact that you mentioned the long-term value. In the case of an emerging artist,
it's for everybody.
For everybody.
Everybody. You see, everybody makes it seem like A-listers do not need enablement.
I'm not saying no. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good you are clearing that, because for any listener, in fact, for a minute when you mentioned it, I was thinking same.
Look, for the
right, you also thinking same.
For the sustainability of your industry, it is very important to enable even the A-listers. Look, the A-listers, their enablement is actually the most difficult. You need a lot more expertise to navigate. You know, be small. You think everybody sits down and think that, oh, it's only emerging talents that need enablement.
That growth.
Everybody needs enablement. That's why, for instance, in my time when I ran Three Music, now I'm doing politics. That's why we had the leaders of the new school performance block. That's how come you can zero in on the likes of Blacko. Yeah, look at what in 2021 what we did for Yao Tog and the Comarican talents. You created leverageable opportunities for them to be able to take it to the next level. Obviously, you can create the leveraging opportunity as to how somebody takes it from point A to point B will require on the expertise they have within their teams. But you are supposed to actually create the leverageable opportunities for them. You know, so it's for everybody. And if you look at it from year 1 to year 5 of the awards, I doubt if there's any platform that has given like leverageable opportunities to a lot more younger talent, including Blacko. So it's there, right? But most importantly, every top, look, some of the top talents, their numbers are dropping. Yes, because there's expertise that needs to come to them to say, listen, at every point in time, the most active users of music fall within these particular ages. This is where they sit. This is how to get their attention. This is how we can reactivate your brand for a certain effect. This is how we go this extra. This is how we go. So it comes to that all-round thinking. It's not every event production that has that all-round thinking to be able to really create one single concept to blow on an artist or reactivate them to a global audience. It's not everybody. That's what I call the Super Bowl effect. Here, it's just about 2. VGMA 3 Music Awards? Because there's a lot of thinking.
Well, please don't leave the gospel people out.
No,
Don't be very happy.
but 3 Music VGMA also has gospel platforms. But I'm saying that
Well,
if you look
there's
at
another major awards for them.
okay, so when I look at it if I look at it from like last year, for instance, in terms of the watchable opportunity, for instance, today, I've got an idea or concept. I was just telling, what's his name? Robert. The idea and concept is for a certain A-lister. I was home one of the days where I got so angry about what was being said about this A-lister in terms of something that the person is trying to progress. He's done a global collaboration and the conversations. And then I chanced on a particular song, unreleased song that is put out. Then the idea started to come. In my head, end to end, just like we've done it, is a kind of concept that I know, damn, this idea, it's be one of those things that will give it a Super Bowl effect. End to end, and just like it's done. Because the market needs to move from the way previously the idea was, Charlie, how much you would take for this particular leverage?
It's too much, so make you cut them.
No. So you say, okay, 100,000 or 200,000. Okay, take this amount of money. Then the person come in, okay, just come and do your thing. The market has shifted. Now we are creating experiences. Now we come to you not only with the money. It's an end-to-end idea, and that's why I call on industry to say, where your market is smaller and you cannot afford to give value to the talent, you need to think of it end-to-end, 360. So you script the entire performance, you send the storyboard, the costume strategy, the performance, who you want to put on and everything, how you want to achieve that effect. Beyond that, the PR buzz you want to give to it. Beyond the PR buzz that you need to give to it, in the long term, how do you want it to impact a particular unreleased song or product or anything like that? So it's a long term, including even having to sit down with all your global connect from your DSPs and everything to say, listen, this is what we are looking to do for ABCD talent. This is how we want you to come in. This is how we want you to come in. So it's a big conversation. This is the level I would want us to get to. But as usual, when the conversation is drawn with the funnel of what we are used to, because industry is always used to the titillating things, getting difficult to discuss to get artists for free. A certain section that is out of context is played. Everybody, there's no direction. There's nothing that comes out of it. But essentially, in that similar conversation, we're talking about markets, size of markets, regulatory impact. We're looking at creating long-term value for brands or talents. We're looking at it. So it's a whole enriching conversation.
Right.
But if you do not sit where we sit, where you do some of these freebies and everything for talents for the long-term impact and effects, you may not see it. But most importantly, the idea is that how do we create long-term value for each other in a market that doesn't have a budget to sustain it?
Okay.
That was the whole premise.
Right. Robert, please come in.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to react because then many things have been thrown, so I'm wondering what line of thinking I'm supposed to be addressing. So if there are specifics, you can actually ask. Otherwise, what I would say is I
do not want to touch on the specifics because, well, just as you mentioned, there was a preamble, right?
Exactly. So in somebody's situation where there was a question asked him and he gave an answer, I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about what he said. I mean, he was answering somebody, and that is what has generated a particular kind of conversation. So it is what it is. I mean, yesterday for me was the fact that I was dealing specifically with something that happened, which is a fact and is there. And I was just making reference to a fact that the person was not paid and that we can talk about the benefits that the person got. So those were facts we're just, connecting to, otherwise then, so there are reasons why you want to charge and there are reasons why you don't want to charge. And these are things we can look at for different kinds of events and what warrants what kind of charges you should even give out and what you shouldn't. And there are benefits that you get. As a matter of fact, there's a tall list of benefits, including payments. And there are certain situations where you take out payments. Yeah, there are certain situations you can take out the monetary aspect and still benefit from everything that there is to the you being on that particular platform. And there are certain situations that you want the money to be converted to be able to enable your own act. And once that is done, you know that at the end of the day, the leveraging capability is going to be very high. So,
but with all he mentioned, are the VGMAs, well, you work with the VGMAs, is it the same or does it vary? Or is opposite?
Okay, so if we're speaking with respect to VGMA, there are there are different kinds of people, and we deal with them differently. There are people we curate their their performance for them,
experience.
and then there are people that we give them that operation, that room for them to be able to do their own stuff. And these are conversations that we have. So if we agree that you should do your own stuff, then yes, we allow you, and then we provide the necessary platform within the space for you to be able to handle that.
But in this
You
case,
understand?
doesn't it come with a colossal amount?
So everything is about conversation. Everything is about conversation. So there are certain people that even for their acts, we get extra people. We get other people who are not necessarily part of the VGMA team to handle what is supposed to be handled for them. So it's that conversation. So we handle some in-house. There are others that bring their own team. They handle it. We understand what they want to do, and then we put things in place. There are others who are like external completely. They handle it themselves, and it's that kind of conversation. So because usually the acts are usually a lot, and so once the performances are a lot, you want to be able to bring extra hands to help in that particular space. But yeah.
Before Ria comes in, someone has sent a message. 95 Volunteer says, and the industry players always tell artists to invest. Do I have your attention, please, Sadiq, Robert? Says, industry players always tell artists to invest in their craft, and you want them to perform for free. If they perform for free, how are they going to improve their craft? And you always encourage them to be at the top. Well,
Again, I say, you see,
So
they
right,
miss-
that's what I'm saying.
Here the event producer, here the event producer is actually investing in the end to end. That's why I said creating value. The era, the world has moved away from the point. We are still stuck in 20 years ago where come take a charge of your own event. The artist is already overburdened creatively. You need to curate the experience, and the experience should not be created only towards providing entertainment value to the audience live and watching at home, but to also have a long-term effect. That's where we are. That's the era where we are now. So this is not the case where you say, Charlie, artists come and wear. No, you cannot just wear anything on my stage. No, it's an experience supposed to achieve an effect. So the way we've done it, or the way I do it every time, is the entire performance. If you ask all of them, they'll tell you that they are used to an experience where, Sadiq is used to an experience where it's more elevated. You just come in, give me the songs, even including planning the song, the performance, how you come in, how you reimagine the song, the costuming, your dances, the concept, the flow, the everything. The investment is here. But I'm saying, or the premise is that, do we need to be able to create the Super Bowl effect for talent and for ourselves or not? Yes, we need to. Do we need to elevate it to that particular number? Yes, that's where the world has gotten to now. We cannot stay 20 years back. Okay, your market size is smaller. It cannot accommodate these things. For any other talent, emerging or big or anything like that, how do you go about creating that? Then the conversation is, okay, if, for instance, you are going to require 3 times whatever commercial fee you pay a talent to be able to create that effect, right? Can you have a conversation, say, because your market is smaller and you cannot achieve it, how do you go about take your honorarium for this, but all this end-to-end, including your translation, every available cost that ordinarily would have sat within the money that you have taken initially, all of that has been taken away from you. And that is expectedly created. Because just sometimes, from Robert's side, sometimes your talent and their teams do not get a picture. If you leave it to them, it will be dropped. But this is the point where, Charlie, that's not the point. You need to create an experience that gets, because we are in the era of likes, views, engagement. Last year, 3 Musical was total watching hours in about a week. The Black Hole performance had garnered like 1 million. Now it's more than 1 million. Collectively in the whole of Africa last year, every award that had come up gained more views. Again, influencers were put on standby for things that they were supposed to do because the song was going to come in 2 weeks. And the impact, everything that's happening today was intended then. So it's the same level of effect that we're looking to create for any talent. It could be top talent, Anglican talent, mid talent. In fact, we are getting to that era where now you do not necessarily even need like essentially a top talent to be able to create an experience. It can be anybody. You can take Enam. Enam has artistry. When you take Enam, for instance, she has artistry. You can plan a whole performance for Enam. By the time you are done, the world will get talking and it will create a whole new value for her. So it doesn't really matter who, but essentially the point is, do we need to create the Super Bowl effect? How do we want to? So first and foremost, and it's not for every event. It's not like every corner event you go to artists and pay for free. No way. Throughout the year, there are commercial events where you call the talent and say, this one will pay you $120,000. This one, because that's what I do. That's what we do. You pay them. And there's some event that you say, okay, this one doesn't have that much budget, but let's all make a certain investment. Your investment is waiver of your commercial fees, but the intended impact is more bigger. So this is the intended impact. And you take them through the intended impact for like a year. But at the end of the day, it's a choice for a talent to decide whether emerging or top or distant talent to decide, I would want this value or not. It's not like something that's by force or you're forcing that on the industry. No, but the Super Bowl effect is what we are all looking to.
Ria hasn't spoken. Ria, please come in.
For me, I think I was just telling Sadiq that for a situation like this, you have to the vision of the artist has to align with your vision also, because at the end of the day, if the artist, even with all the leverage that you have or with all the vision that you have for the artist, doesn't see him or herself, gunning for a lot of following or a lot of likes with that kind of performance, they might decide not to do it. And I think he has even stated that there are some artists that he had such a bright vision or a bright future for, with a performance he was planning for, and they didn't pick it. I mean, going back to the Rihanna situation like this, after that performance, I mean, Fenty Beauty products skyrocketed. She became one of the most viewed or most streamed artists in the world. And even when it came to the views of the Super Bowl, with her star power and she not bringing out an album in like how many years, I think 1 million people watched the Super Bowl. Were watching the Super Bowl before the halftime show. By the halftime show, it had gone to like 4 million people. Okay, so, or 400 million. I'm not sure about that, because I know that the numbers went higher when she was performing. So I think it was 400 million, sorry. So at the end of the day, it's a give and take situation, like I always say. Your vision has to align.
It's 100 plus million.
100 plus million. Okay. Yes. So your vision has to align, and your capabilities also have to align. And it also goes to the event organizers to, beef up their creativity, to be able to have that leverage on artists, so that they know that at the end of the day, even if I'm not paid, when I step on this platform, my career will go from a 0 to 100.
Joko says, Sadiq, very intelligent soul. Why politics? 10 event planners of his type will silent criticisms among players and performers in Ghana, and will put Ghana on the globe. The industry is lucky to have him. I'm about to find out why politics. Fifi Common Productions in partnership with HFM presents the hilarious and thought-provoking first all-female cast play, Women at Work. If you're a man, come. Featuring Anama McBrown, Nash Shakur, Rosalind Felly, and many seasoned stage actors. Showing at the National Theatre on the 4th of March at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tickets are going for a cool 100 Ghana cedis. Simply dial star 713 star 44 star 334 hash. Star 713 star 44 star 334 hash. Chama bion if me chibu neba. Me nye ni packet was out.
Close the book and say it.
Okay. Star 713 star 44 star 334 hash.
Wait, say it again.
Hello, Philly me cancel. Star 713 star 44 star 334 hash.
Aww.
Oh.
Aren't you smart?
On behalf of the Association of Ghana, we say So let's all meet at the National Theatre on the 4th of March and enjoy Women at Work. This production is brought to you by 4UK and Worldwide Visas Ghana. Franco Trading Enterprise is still calling that they have smart TVs ranging from 32 to 55 inches, Franco air conditioners ranging from 1.5 horsepower to 2.5 horsepower. Please take note. Do not pick any Franco Trading number on Google. Kindly call them on 0555 93 93 11. 0555 93 93 11, or download the Franco Trading app on Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Hey, Papa's Munches is still calling Let's all get there.
Let's go for lunch today there.
Minu.
Only lunch.
Oh, would you
Yes,
take me?
holy lunch.
Honorable,
Holy.
would you take me?
Holy.
Andy takes you on your lunch and has you for dinner. See, that's
Honorable,
like
will you
a ram.
take
That's
me
like
for-
a ram like that.
Honorable, will you take me for dinner when Andy takes
I
me?
beg, I dey go.
You started calling Sadiq honorable, yeah?
Honorable,
I dey go
that-
pick
but
my
of
phone
course-
today.
Okay, so what? Okay, so why politics?
Oh, well, I mean, I think that as a young person, generally I judge myself for.
Sadiq, you are what? 30 years?
Which 30 years? I dey look that boyish.
But you be boy. Small boy. You there, they come, they do big
Small
boy.
boy, mum, they be small boy.
Hey.
I'm 37.
Hey. Sadiq, we are grow past you
Not
like
bad.
what?
We
And we grew past me like-
able-bodied
And
men.
we grow past me like almost
In our
19
political
years.
scene.
You know,
No,
let me.
no.
So 37 plus
No,
19.
Sadiq,
Hey, my friend, come on for there.
Wait,
What?
hold on. Before you even get to that particular space, when was Nkrumah brought to Ghana to come and fight for independence?
Yeah.
Sometimes we like to wait too
This
long
56 years.
to do stuff. All these guys we are calling freedom fighters and stuff like that. Go check their age and when they started.
Small boys.
No, not small boys. Prime age of their lives.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so that thing that life begins at 40. I don't know who taught who or who told who.
But I
and
think for
what
Andy,
purpose.
I think for Andy,
so-
I think for Andy, for a lot of people, when they ask, they are not looking at my age per se. It's essentially like, okay, look, you're doing well in a certain industry.
Stay there.
You're growing. You're building value.
Nah,
So
no,
why are you
no.
moving?
I don't
That's-
want to.
that's
I
where
don't.
get
I don't
it.
want to say what is in his head or what we think he's saying. I want to
Oh, okay,
focus
so
on
let
what
him
he
say
said.
what is it?
Yeah, you are not a small boy. If you go back and check, Charlie, because if we are building up on what our fathers have done, then at age 18 we should be fighting for certain positions. You understand what I'm saying? So it's
But
not like
my current
oh, yeah,
my
Small
current
boy,
minority.
you as
You know
a
which one
18.
with the small boy?
If you say
Knowledge
anything,
has-
no, what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that they don't be small boys anymore. If you say 18, why you doing say, hey, yo, I'm 18. Yo,
Yeah.
Your son, they take you for outside.
I'm 18. I'm voting.
excuse me, that's
enough.
I said, don't go there. Why?
Actually, my current
I'm 18.
my current minority leader, when about to force him, went to parliament when he was 31. He became a deputy finance minister when he was in his 30s.
Wow.
Kojo, who is yesterday was trending, became a minister when he was 28.
Yeah, Kujetu. Me, I know Kujetu.
So, do you know Sammy?
Young
You know
man.
Sammy James?
I know Sammy Jeff. No, I don't know his age.
He's 31, going
Really?
to 32. Yeah, and
Any
look
man.
at how influential he is as a young
It is what it is.
politician. So,
So yeah, you were telling me about why.
yeah,
why
I think that for
politics.
me, I've judged myself well in an industry, and a lot more people can connect me to a certain positive excellence that they see. And again, I've always sought to have a certain silver line of purpose where I'm always helping my community. I'm always looking out for their sustainable livelihoods and all of that. Yeah, there's a whole lot I'm doing in Okaikwe Central. And so once it got to the time, it was almost
Okaikwe Central.
Okaikwe Central. So Fadama, Beka, I was born in Fadama, grew up in Fadama. I attended school in Harrow at the Beka. I grew up in those areas, so there's a lot of things we're doing to give back. So I think that it was more or less like a call from the community to say, look, there's a young, dynamic, competent, charismatic individual that had come from us. We've seen him grow with us. And as a young person, he sits in an industry where he's judged himself and continue to drive value for his industry and society. So why not him? And we're at a point where we're looking for such leadership. The leadership who will deliver value to their people. The leadership that will create sustainable livelihoods for their people. The leadership that will be on the lookout for the most needed social infrastructure projects for their people. The leadership that will overall elevate the quality of life for their people. In Okaikwe Central, that is where we've got into. And obviously for somebody that has been there, done that, and continue to do similar things, why not me?
Okay,
And
wait.
obviously even for industry, it's also beyond looking out for my people in Okaikwe Central, even for industry. Whenever you are there at the highest decision-making table, it's a very essential. We need a lot of people from different industries. The legal fraternity has almost monopolized it. Doctors, accounting, you can still count people from the creative industry that are going to be there. Meanwhile, the creative industry collectively has the most jobs in the country. From the, if you gauge it on the basis of the NIA, National Education Authority's numbers, registration numbers from October 20, as at 2022, where you count the top 10 professions that was registered at NIA, top 3 of it were all creative industry jobs. Seamstress designers, they are a group. They have almost 45,000 members nationwide. there are a lot of people that are involved in makeup today. There are a lot of people that, in fact, when we do even an activity or an event, you see that in fact, you cannot talk about the gig economy without the creative industry or the creative economy. So it's important that beyond looking out for the interest of my people in Okaikwe Central, you'll be there to be able to redirect government decisions and policy regarding an industry that holds so much promise and could employ a lot more young people. But ultimately, the sustainable livelihoods of the people in Abeka, Fadama, Apenkwa, Tesano, La Paz is very important, particularly the young people whose biggest battle cry has always been jobs, and employment.
I think he forgot to mention two things. That he also be interested in understanding the value chain and the ecosystem.
that has been the usual. That has been the chance. And then enablement.
This is the language.
Oh, didn't mention enablement.
Yeah.
So it's the value creation. The value.
Now the language is sustainability.
Yes, that one there. I beg, it be chance. That one it be normal.
You almost forgot.
Yes,
but we cannot allow him to forget.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thanks very much for the reminder.
I'm out there to represent the voices of the majorly young people in Okaikwe Central, the voices of the women in Okaikwe Central who are looking for the much needed grants to empower their trade, here to look out for the old women, here to look at. Essentially, Okaikwe Central will see a refreshingly different leadership, a more dynamic, youthful, innovative leadership in terms of how we deliver the mandates to them. So yeah, we are coming. I'm picking the forms today. Obviously, going forward, you see.
Who are you going against?
In the primaries, I think there are about 4 people coming up, but as usual, it's democracy. But I'm confident that
people within your party.
Yeah, people within the party.
4 people.
Yeah, it's normal. It's even. I mean, some of the celebrated politicians are coming up against a lot more people.
How optimistic are you?
Very optimistic. I think that there's the party is out to match the expectation of the people. There's a massive expectation for a Baba Sadiq's leadership. And so most importantly, the party, the delegates, the 1,233 delegates are looking to one more time, after so many years, providing that somebody whose qualities matches the total expectation of the over 50,000 constituents or the people and the voter role in the constituency. And so, yes, we're going to do it. And for the NDC, having not... there's a skirt and blouse situation where we're almost getting a lot more voice in presidential and getting less. This is a time where somebody who's competent, credible, has that professional reputation, has that charisma, and that stands the constituency because he was born there, is here. And so we're going to see something different in the ways you've seen me do it in other industries. There's a lot more that's coming to Okaikwe Central.
I think I better invite you one of these days to have a special one-on-one, get to know you better, your childhood, how the whole stream, why the number 3. I think you've mentioned it before, but that was some years.
So me no call by Kaswai now, you don't know me.
No.
Hey,
it's not about. You know what that yesterday? You know what?
Andy.
No, you know me. You are my friend.
I told you, Andy, you know me. Andy, you are my friend.
Politics is some dirty game, man. As yesterday, I was there. I'm like, hey, so me and you. Me no go by now. So why don't you know me? I said, I know you, but just answer the question.
For the people, for the public, they need to
they
know
say,
you.
Hey, politics. Oh, Charlie. But thanks very much for coming, Sadiq.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's continue the education. It's very important for industry, and I think that it's a good thing you've started. We need to begin to delve more into the issues of industry. The things we've been discussing about 20 years ago, it doesn't lead us to anywhere. We need to now begin to look forward, have more progressive conversations for industry, and I'm glad that we've started with something.
But wait, before you go, 3 Music Awards, isn't it time yet?
Oh, the management will challenge me. I'm a retired staff.
Hey.
I'm just a shareholder of the business.
Hey.
But I mean, I think that the management and the team would, in due course, put out their announcement regarding 3 Music Awards.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, listeners. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Ria.